Hey, welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you're doing well. So today I found out one of my favorite companies is embracing the new technology that is blockchain, and it was really recently released that Vacheron Constantin will be utilizing blockchain as a company. For those of you who don't know about Vacheron Constantin was founded in 1755 and it's massively respected. It's a massively respected watch brand within the Swiss watch industry. They're also part of what's known as the Holy Trinity, which includes three watch companies that are considered extreme experts in the watchmaking art. That includes Vacheron Constantin, Audemars, Piguet, and Patek Philippe. And for those of you who are new to blockchain, basically blockchain is it's basically just a ledger that can record transactions between two parties, and each transaction is permanent, so it can't be reversed, and it's also verified, so there's safety within that transaction. So Vacheron Constantin has decided that they are going to be utilizing the blockchain technology, which is really, really cool, and it's kind of very progressive with what's coming up in the world as we're living it today. For such an older company to be doing this really shows that they have their fingers on the pulse, and makes me respect them as a company a lot more, because there are a lot of companies that kind of just see what's happening today and just ignore it, and that oftentimes ends up in their demise. This is an example. When the quartz crisis happened, all the Swiss watch companies thought, oh, this is not going to do anything, but it ended up hurting them drastically, and it reduced the amount of companies that were producing watches and selling watches, mechanical watches, as opposed to quartz watches. So it's great that Vacheron Constantin is really moving with it, and I think the blockchain technology is a way will help them as a company. So you're probably wondering how they're going to be using this. So Vacheron Constantin actually sells their own vintage watches, and attached with those vintage watches is obviously a lot of data, which is what blockchain is able to house with these transactions. So the types of data that they can capture is the manufacturing date of the watch, the movement number and the movement type, the date of when the watch was released, where it was purchased, when it was purchased. It can track the previous owners, who they were, where they lived, and it can also track service history. And when a watch is captured in their system, they will the owner of the watch will also receive a digital certification for that watch. A lot of the times when you had to go for certifications, you had to email Vacheron Constantin, and you have to pay, and they would end up sending you a certificate of authenticity. But now instead of doing that, you can do it straight through their blockchain platform and have that digital certification with that watch. So all of this information is super, super important to collectors. It's the stuff that we basically live in and breathe off of. So for us, it's super important because it stimulates our hobby, but also when you're going through transactions, you can use this information, and the person on the other end of the purchase, or the person who's purchasing your watch, will be able to feel comfortable with their purchase because they have all this information. They have this digital certification that will prove that the watch is not fake, which is obviously something that happens basically every day in vintage watches. So I really like this because it's merging old technology of watchmaking, the historical thing that I and many of you have fallen in love with, but it's also merging that blockchain technology that's coming up now and kind of becoming mainstream. I've said in previous videos, I spoke about how Hublot was selling a watch for Bitcoin. I personally think that cryptocurrencies may not be around forever, but this blockchain technology can be hugely effective, and this is a perfect example of a company that's taking advantage of the effectiveness that blockchain can present. It's also proving to collectors and improving the standard, almost the standard of collecting, fivefold basically, by having all this information logged, keeping it in one central place, and allowing for collectors to be comfortable with their purchases. I guess the big question is, will Vacheron Constantin continue to use this, and will other companies end up adopting this technology? I will give you my opinion, and again, this is my opinion. I absolutely love this. I think this is a great improvement to the collector's world, and I also love the fact that it's with Vacheron Constantin, who happens to be my favorite company within the Holy Trinity. I think it's going to take some time. It has to be a proven method of tracking and tracking these transactions and information for collectors before other companies start to adopt this technology. But I envision it being something that becomes very, very mainstream. I don't know how long it's going to take for other companies to adopt it, but I like that Vacheron Constantin is spearheading this effort, and perhaps other companies will get involved, and then maybe the transactions can be grouped into one whole ledger, so that almost there's like a vintage watch world of all the transactions that take place, which will again improve our collectors world so much more, and make it a lot more enjoyable and satisfying and safer for those who are purchasing these watches. So I hope you like this video. It's a really cool bit of news, and I wanted to share it with you. If you are new to the channel, we create videos about watches, about just about anything about watches. So if you like that type of content, we'd love for you to subscribe. Button's just down there. It's very, very simple. And also, if you wouldn't mind giving us a thumbs up, that also would be greatly appreciated. Let us know what you think about this technology in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's here to stay? Do you think this is a good use of Vacheron Constantin's R&D spend? Would love to hear about from you guys. So with that said, I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day.